If you thought the blue-faced Chrisean Karlissa universe had finally calmed down, think again, because the chaos just upgraded from simmering mess to full-blown digital wildfire. Karlissa has returned to the internet like a villain in a season finale after the writers swore she was gone. And this time she's swinging around accusations loud enough to make the Kardashians pack up their ring lights and say, yeah, we can't compete with this. According to her, Chrisean Rock, the walking hurricane of Baltimore energy, has no home, no stability, and nowhere to land except inside the headlines she creates daily. And while the internet was already clutching its pearls at that claim, the universe decided to throw gasoline on the madness because suddenly, Kash and Naj, two Baddies favorites, burst into a fight so wild, so dramatic, and so chaotic the clip didn't just trend. It broke the entire algorithm. It's the kind of viral explosion that makes people refresh their phones like they're checking stock prices during an economic crash, wondering who swung first, who swung hardest, and who swung even when nobody asked them to. This isn't drama anymore, this is digital warfare disguised as entertainment. And trust me, what you're about to hear makes everything you've seen so far look like peaceful meditation. When Karlissa decided to jump online and announce to the world that Chrisean Rock had no home, she didn't whisper it, hint at it, or soften it. She shouted it like she was hosting a live auction for embarrassment. The way she broke the news, you would have thought Chrisean had been spotted sleeping under a bridge like a character in a dramatic Lifetime movie, instead of being the same woman who goes viral every week without even trying. Karlissa delivered the accusation with the confidence of someone who has never been wrong a day in her life, even though her track record says otherwise. And once she spoke those words into the universe, the internet cracked open like an egg thrown at a celebrity's house on Halloween night. The claim didn't spread slowly. It spread instantly, violently, and disrespectfully, like rumors always do when they involve Chrisean Rock. Suddenly everyone wanted to know where she lived, how she lived, and whether she was living at all. People who had never cared before were suddenly housing inspectors, lifestyle analysts, and spiritual auditors. They dissected her Instagram posts like scientists studying meteor fragments. Meanwhile, Karlissa acted like she was dropping biblical scripture, instead of messy allegations dipped in her usual brand of chaos, which always seems to strike at the most inconvenient moment possible. And in the middle of this explosion stood Chrisean Rock, a woman who has survived more battles than a gladiator trapped in a never-ending tournament. The idea that she had no home sounded wild to her supporters, because if there's one thing Chrisean does have, it's people watching her every move. She doesn't need a house, she could live stream herself sitting inside a cardboard box and still pull 500,000 views. But Karlissa's words weren't for accuracy. They were for impact, and she hit the button with full force. The comment didn't just poke Chrisean, it tried to slice her image right down the center, like a movie plot twist designed to generate instant outrage. But before the internet could even fully digest Karlissa's claim, the universe served up a second scandal like a chaotic appetizer. The Kash vs. Naj fight erupted across social media with the kind of intensity that could make the Super Bowl feel insecure. It didn't just go viral. It broke the algorithm so aggressively that some people opened TikTok and saw nothing but the fight for 2 straight hours. If your feed wasn't showing those punches, your phone was probably broken. The clip spread faster than a leaked celebrity interview, and everyone was scrambling to figure out what started it, who swung first, and why Kash and Naj looked like they were fighting over the last seat on Judgment Day. The timing couldn't have been more dramatic. As if the universe itself said, Karlissa's mess isn't enough, we need Baddies' chaos too. Suddenly both scandals were running side by side like race cars fueled by pure drama. Viewers bounced between watching Karlissa drag Chrisean and watching Kash drag Naj, barely able to keep up with which storyline was more unhinged. It felt like a crossover episode where reality stars from different universes accidentally collided at the world's messiest intersection. And while one side of the internet debated Chrisean's housing situation, the other side zoomed in on punches, screams, and wig-snatching physics like they were reviewing game footage from a national championship. And here's the thing, the reason Karlissa's accusation hit so hard wasn't because people believed it, it was because they knew. She meant it with her entire soul. Karlissa's beef with Chrisean has been simmering for years, bubbling like a pot ready to spill over. She doesn't throw shade. She hurls it like an Olympic sport. So when she said Chrisean had no home, it wasn't a casual insult, it was an attempt to question her stability, her motherhood, and her image all in one messy sentence. And in the world of social media, reputation is currency. So the accusation felt like a digital robbery attempt conducted live. Meanwhile, Naj and Kash's fight added gasoline to the entire situation by creating a distraction that somehow made everything worse. Their brawl wasn't a quick scuffle, it was cinematic chaos that people replayed like a blockbuster trailer. Viewers were editing the clip with dramatic music, slow motion, and subtitles like it was an epic scene from a streaming series. Kash's supporters claimed she won. Naj's supporters argued the opposite. And the rest of the internet simply watched in awe, wondering if the Baddies franchise was secretly training fighters in a basement somewhere because the technique, aggression, and pure commitment were shockingly entertaining. And as the internet debated both scandals, people started combining them, making memes that tied Karlissa's claims to the Baddies fight like they were part of the same spiritual prophecy. Some joked that Chrisean didn't respond to Karlissa because she was busy watching Kash and Naj throw hands. Others claimed the fight happened because of the drama, as if the energy in the atmosphere was so chaotic it made random people start swinging. The memes got wilder, the comments got louder, and suddenly Karlissa wasn't just beefing with Chrisean, she was competing with a fight clip for who could break the internet harder. Through all this noise, Chrisean stayed surprisingly quiet at first. Her silence wasn't peaceful, it was the type of silence that hums like a power line before it explodes. People watched her page like hawks, waiting for the moment she would go live and unleash the Baltimore hurricane that everyone knows lives in her chest. And the longer she stayed silent, the more the internet prepared for the inevitable eruption. Because if there's one thing everyone knows, it's that Chrisean doesn't let disrespect slide, not from strangers, not from exes, and definitely not from Blueface's mother, and that silence created tension thicker than a courtroom verdict. Viewers weren't just watching the drama, they were waiting for the detonation. Some believed Chrisean was plotting her response like a chess master preparing a checkmate. Others assumed she was ignoring Karlissa altogether because the Baddies fight had stolen the spotlight, and she'd rather watch chaos than participate in it. But one thing was certain, whenever Chrisean responded, it was going to shake the internet harder than anything Karlissa had said. Because this wasn't just a rumor. This wasn't just a fight clip. This was a collision of two viral storms happening at the same time, feeding each other like a chaotic ecosystem designed to keep the internet entertained. And trust me, it was only the beginning. As the internet choked on Karlissa's Chrisean got no home claim, the chaos didn't calm down, it mutated. It expanded. It evolved into something so massive that even people who don't know who Chrisean Rock suddenly had opinions about her housing situation. It became the digital equivalent of watching two storms collide, and the lightning hit every corner of social media. TikTok philosophers, Instagram antis, Twitter comedians, and YouTube analysts all united like an unexpected Avengers team, each offering commentary that somehow made the situation even more unhinged. And the wildest part? Everyone had an angle, a theory, a punchline, or a hot take ready to go, because Karlissa's mouth had thrown the door wide open for chaos to sprint right through. Meanwhile, the Kash vs. Naj fight kept exploding like it was allergic to being second place in the drama Olympics. Every hour, a new angle of the fight surfaced, one from the left, one from the right, one from behind a ring light someone dropped in the commotion. People edited the footage with dramatic score, anime punches, and WE commentary as if the universe itself wanted this fight to remain immortal. Some viewers swore they saw glitter flying through the air. Others insisted a wig levitated like the Holy Spirit briefly ascended during the brawl. Whether any of it was true didn't matter, the internet had officially entered its storytelling phase, where facts tap out and entertainment takes full control. While fans were busy decoding the fight like an encrypted prophecy, Karlissa doubled down on her housing accusations like she had been appointed the official landlord of the United States. She hopped online again, this time with a voice full of that "I know something you don't" energy that always hints at nonsense. She claimed Chrisean was hopping from place to place, sleeping wherever she lands and relying on sympathy instead of structure. The irony of it all didn't miss anyone, especially the thousands of viewers who pointed out that Karlissa doesn't even know what's happening in her own house half the time. But logic has never stopped her before. She swung those accusations around like she was playing a game of verbal dodgeball with nobody guarding her. And the comments? Pure destruction. People weren't just dragging her, they were carving essays about her toxicity, analyzing her behavior like she was a case study in family dysfunction. One commenter said, "How you beefing with a girl half your age and a toddler at the same time?" Another asked why she was so invested in Chrisean's housing but not invested in her own son's career, which apparently vanished into the abyss with no forwarding address. The replies didn't just roast, they incinerated, turning Karlissa's live into a digital bonfire she unintentionally started across the battlefield. Chrisean's fans were revving up like race cars at a starting line. They stitched Karlissa's comments with receipts, moments, screenshots, and reminders that Chrisean had been active, booked, touring, performing, and living loudly. Some pointed out that even when she was broke, she was still more relevant than half the celebrities begging for attention with sponsorships nobody asked for. Others defended her motherhood fiercely, insisting that a woman constantly working and moving isn't homeless, she's hustling, grinding, leveling up. And the more they defended her, the more the narrative shifted from "does she have a home?" to "why is Karlissa obsessed?" But just as the internet was getting comfortable roasting Karlissa, the Baddies fight returned with a fresh explosion when Kash decided to speak. Her live was pure chaos wrapped in raw energy. She didn't whisper, she didn't sneak. She didn't tiptoe, she blasted her version of events with enough force to blow out the speakers on cheap headphones everywhere. She insisted Naj was talking recklessly, stepping wrong, disrespecting boundaries, and pushing buttons she shouldn't have touched. Kash told her supporters that she wasn't the villain, she was simply reacting, defending, and standing on business like a true Baddies veteran. Seconds later, Naj fired back with a response that made the internet scream round two. She claimed Kash was exaggerating, twisting details, and performing for the cameras like she was auditioning for the lead role in a messy reality documentary. Naj insisted she had no reason to fight unless provoked and said Kash came at her sideways, creating drama where none existed. Her tone was icy, her words sharp, and her attitude screamed, "If you want more smoke, I have extra in the trunk." Fans didn't know who to believe, but they did know one thing: the fight wasn't going away anytime soon. With both women speaking, the internet started taking sides like their entire self-worth depended on it. Team Kash said she had every right to swing. Team Naj argued she was pushed into a corner. Team Neutral just reposted memes and said both women needed anger management gift cards. But the more everyone talked about it, the hotter the clip got. It wasn't just viral. It became a cultural moment. The kind of moment future reality TV historians will study while shaking their heads. And through all this noise, Karlissa's name kept popping up like a stubborn pop-up ad nobody could close. The memes combined everything: Chrisean's alleged homelessness, Karlissa's comments, Kash's punches, Naj's attitude, all in the same carousel posts. One meme said, "Meanwhile, Karlissa calling people homeless while Baddies castmates fight like Avengers." Another said, "Two separate dramas competing for the same viral trophy." The internet had officially merged both storylines into one enormous, messy superplot and crowned them co-winners of the Chaos Cup. Then came the celebrity reactions, because of course celebrities couldn't resist a scandal buffet this big. Influencers posted shady comments about people who speak too much about others' lives. A known rapper tweeted that grown adults shouldn't judge women who hustle harder than pastors on Easter Sunday. A reality star hinted that she had tea about the fight but didn't want to ruin her NDA, which only made the internet more unhinged as they tried guessing what she knew. Everyone was tossing in their reactions like ingredients in a giant, explosive stew, and the irony hovering above it all was impossible to ignore. Chrisean didn't say a word. She didn't post. She didn't rant. She didn't even like a shady comment. Her silence overshadowed everyone's noise. Because silence combined with her reputation didn't feel peaceful, it felt dangerous. It felt like she was gathering energy to release a digital earthquake. Everyone was waiting, because when Chrisean breaks her silence, the internet stops breathing. As the dust from both scandals kept swirling, the aftermath grew into something so massive it felt like the entire internet was trapped inside a digital tornado. People weren't just watching anymore, they were emotionally invested, spiritually exhausted, and physically clutching their phones like they were trying to stop them from exploding. The narrative kept twisting, turning, mutating into new shapes every hour. In both situations, Karlissa versus Chrisean and Kash versus Naj turned into cultural conversations bigger than the people involved. It wasn't just drama. It was a full-blown social event, the kind that becomes its own ecosystem with opinions growing like weeds. And in the center of the storm stood Chrisean Rock, silent as a statue carved out of pure chaos. The longer she stayed quiet, the more hysterical the internet became. Comment sections wondered if she was planning a response video. Fans assumed she was preparing a dramatic comeback. Haters expected tears, screaming, or a rage-fueled rant. But nothing came. And the silence hit harder than any punch thrown in the Baddies fight because people knew that reactions from Chrisean are never small there. Earthquakes disguised as statements. Her quietness felt like the deep breath before a scream that could shatter glass in 10 different time zones. Even without speaking, Chrisean's presence dominated the conversation. People wrote think pieces about her situation, dissecting Karlissa's claims and imagining the tension that must exist behind the scenes. They questioned why Karlissa felt comfortable attacking her, why the topic of housing even mattered, and why a grown woman with grandchildren had such an obsession with tearing down someone who's still trying to build her life. The internet's sympathy began shifting. Public opinion drifted away from Karlissa and toward Chrisean, with viewers painting her as a young woman constantly targeted by people who underestimate her strength. On the other side of the battlefield, Karlissa seemed to be losing control of her narrative faster than she could open Instagram Live. Every time she spoke, the backlash intensified. Her attempts to justify her words sounded brittle, defensive, and hollow. Viewers noticed she wasn't apologizing, she was rationalizing, shifting blame, and doubling down. The internet turned on her with the speed of a flock of birds changing direction mid-flight. Memes labeled her the unofficial chaos minister, and comments told her to retire from the internet altogether. Suddenly, she wasn't the loud, confident mother figure stirring the pot, she was the villain in a story she helped write. While this was happening, the Baddies fight moved into its next evolution. New footage leaked showing angles that had fans arguing all over again. Some clips made Kash look like the aggressor. Others made Naj look provoked. Platforms lit up with freeze frames, slow motion, and breakdowns with commentary from people who acted like certified fight analysts. People loved the fight so much that it overshadowed celebrity birthdays, movie releases, and even political rants. It became a staple of everyone's feed. The kind of viral clip that refuses to die no matter how many days pass. But then the tension deepened when fans began tying both scandals together like two chapters of the same messy book. Commentators pointed out that both situations involved women being targeted, judged, analyzed, and thrown into the spotlight for reasons that felt more personal than public. They highlighted how women in entertainment, especially loud, bold, outspoken ones, are constantly put under microscopes, either for their living arrangements or their tempers. Suddenly, the discourse shifted from memes to morality as viewers questioned whether society treats certain women unfairly just because they refuse to be quiet. Just when people thought the chaos had reached its peak, Blueface stepped in, but not the way anyone hoped. Instead of defending his child's mother or stepping up against his own mother's comments, he posted a vague message about everyone needing to focus on themselves. The internet collectively groaned. Viewers accused him of dodging responsibility, refusing accountability, and treating serious situations like disposable entertainment. His neutral stance didn't make him look balanced, it made him look disconnected, uninterested, and shockingly uninvolved in the well-being of his own family. But the real shift came when Chrisean finally spoke, not through a rant, not through an angry video, but through a short, emotionally heavy message hinting she was tired of being disrespected. Her words weren't loud, but they were sharp. She didn't attack Karlissa, didn't insult her, didn't drag her. Instead, she implied that she was exhausted, overwhelmed, and tired of people attacking her as if she hadn't survived battles most people couldn't handle. The simplicity of the message hit harder than any screaming match could have. It reminded people of her humanity, something that gets lost in the loudness of her public persona. Her message flipped the entire narrative. Sympathy surged. Support poured in. Even people who weren't fans of her began defending her. They argued that young motherhood is hard enough without outside voices adding negativity. They criticized Karlissa for kicking someone who was already juggling more stress than the average celebrity. They reminded everyone that Chrisean had overcome homelessness before, that she rebuilt herself through grind and opportunity, and that using her past as a weapon wasn't just wrong, it was cruel. As for the Baddies fight, its aftermath took on a life of its own. Kash and Naj gained followers, attention, and unexpected endorsements as companies tried to capitalize on the viral moment. Each cast member used the chaos as fuel for their brands, their platforms, their personalities. Fans joked that by next month, the fight would be memorialized in merch, hoodies, or even reenactments for promotional trailers. It became a symbol of how drama can launch careers instead of destroying them, especially in the entertainment world where fights are sometimes more valuable than friendships. And through it all, the internet realized something deeper. Both scandals were reflections of a larger issue. They represented generational conflict, social pressure, women at war with each other, and the unforgiving glare of online judgment. They showed how quickly narratives spiral, how vicious the internet can become, and how one comment, one accusation, one punch, one rumor can reshape the entire landscape of public opinion. By the end of the chaos, one truth remained crystal clear: nothing in this universe stays quiet for long. Every drama becomes fuel. Every conflict becomes content. Every scandal becomes a storyline waiting for the next explosion. And this story? It was nowhere near over. This entire roller coaster of chaos, Karlissa's loud accusations, Chrisean's silent pressure, and Kash versus Naj's headline-destroying brawl just proved once again that celebrity drama doesn't slow down. It only mutates into bigger and louder explosions. And if you made it to the end of this madness, then you already know you're built for this world of non-stop twists and internet-fueled meltdowns. But before you run off to argue in the comments like you're presenting evidence in a high-profile court case, do one thing that keeps the fire burning. Hit that like button with the same energy Kash and Naj put into those swings. And smash subscribe like you're slamming the door on the world's messiest situationship. Turn on those notifications because scandals in this universe hit faster than deleted tweets and spread quicker than reality show rumors in a group chat. Blink for 5 seconds and you'll miss a new meltdown, a new fight, a new claim, and a new villain no one saw coming. Now tell me in the comments whose side you're taking. Does Karlissa have a point, or was that claim pure chaos? Did Kash dominate, or did Naj hold her ground? Should Chrisean respond, or let silence stay louder than every accusation thrown her way? Your reactions keep the energy alive, and trust me, we're always ready for more. Because here at Trend Tattle, we don't just watch the drama, we breathe it, flip it, break it down, and deliver it hotter than the people involved can handle. And as long as celebrities keep acting like this world is one big unscripted soap opera, we'll be right here turning every twist into the kind of story the internet can't stop replaying. Because the mess may fade, but the obsession never will when you're rocking with Trend Tattle.